Democratic voters in Wisconsin will see a long list of names on their ballot next August when they vote in the gubernatorial primary. I'm here now with Brett Hulsey, who's hoping to win his party's nomination. Thank you for being with me.
Great. Thank you, Carolyn.
Let's start. Why do you want to be Wisconsin's next governor?
My grandkids. My granddaughter started school, kindergarten, the first of last month, and then the reports came out about how our students are struggling due to the extreme budget cuts from Governor Walker and the extremists in the Capitol. I was in the Assembly fighting that tooth and nail. I debated the Unfair to Spare Bill, Act 10, 62 hours. And I want to build a better Wisconsin for them and everybody in Wisconsin.
What does that mean to you? How would you do that?
First of all, we got to fix our schools. I'm a former teacher. I taught everything from 6th grade math to college physics. I have a master's in science ed. My mom is a lifelong teacher, and she taught at an International Baccalaureate High School in Oklahoma City. And to get credit in the International Baccalaureate High School, you have to take a test at the end. So I want to both increase our standards, but also increase support. As a former teacher myself, I taught physics, biology, earth science, physical science, yearbook, and journalism, and coached triathlon and soccer the first year for $13,000 a year. And yes, this was Oklahoma, and it was a while ago, but you know, we need to pay and treat our teachers as the professionals they are, and the support staff. They're key. Teachers are like, you know, the CEO of the classroom, and they have to have the support staff and others to make sure those kids get the best education possible.
School districts across our state are facing extreme budget crunches. If you were to become governor, how would you plan to address that?
First of all, the Constitution, yeah, you're absolutely right. I mean, schools are doing referendums for operating expenses. And my economics background says that's not, you're supposed to do referendums for big capital projects. So that's just wrong. And I want to support the teachers and the students and the schools with as much funding as we can. But there's more to it than that. It ties into my energy plan, my Positive Power Energy for Wisconsin. I call it the PEP program. When I was teaching, I actually designed a college physics course where we looked at energy efficiency. And one thing you can do, it's called Philips School Vision. When you go in, you relight the LEDs like you guys did here, you get new lights, and the teachers actually controls the quality of the light. So they can, when the kids come in the morning or sleepy, you know, a lot of kids shouldn't start school before 9 o'clock in the morning, honestly, because, you know, their adolescent bodies aren't up and rolling yet. But you can wake them up with bright light like we're doing here, and then in the afternoon when the kids start to get squirrely, which happened a lot in my classroom, then you take the light down. And the studies show this reduces the energy cost for that school by up to 90%, because you're not have these old fluorescents that you feel like you're in, you know, a mental ward. And you can improve the behavior of the students in the school and see some benefit in learning as well and better scores. That's just a small example, but as a science teacher, what I did in my class is we tried to involve the kids in it. We had the kids count the lights. We had them figure out how much energy they were using. And then so when they see that, they see the electricians come in and put them in. So they see electricians who are getting $100 an hour coming in. It shows them a path to good jobs. The apprentices program and the electrical and all the trades will pay you to learn. My plumber, I run a small business, Better Environmental Solutions. I'm a carpenter and general contractor. My plumber was saying that for every 9 retirements they have from plumbing, they have 1 person, you know, coming into the pipeline. So we need to give the kids the path early on to see where they can go to earn a very good living. My plumber's on a cruise in the Caribbean right now, and I'm working to a level of 1880 house downtown.
You previously ran for governor in 2014. You lost handily in the Democratic primary. You then launched a write-in campaign in the general election. Didn't really gain any traction. What do you think is different this time around?
Well, first of all, we face incredible threats from the federal level and radical extremists here in the state. We can't mess around with any third parties. If we want to take back Wisconsin, take back the legislature, we got the Supreme Court, we got the governorship, we need to capture both seats, both houses, in order to move Wisconsin forward. And we have to have somebody that'll fight like hell against the Trump debacle that's going on in Washington. The other thing that's different that, honestly, I was running against a millionaire then. I ran against her because I went to hear her speak, and she needed a primary. She was not ready she needed spring training, for the fall. And I still got 52,000 votes. I spent about $10,000 of my own money. And my attorney said that was one of the best dollar per vote outcomes in any election, anywhere. So again, he's my attorney. I got to double check those numbers. But what's different now is, first of all, last time I had a 1987 Volkswagen Cabriolet, and I got it for $1,000. And now I have a 1995 Cutlass Supreme, which is out in the driveway. You can see that. And people would line up at Brewers games, Packer games for 20 minutes to get their picture taken with the old one. Wait till they see the new one. And so I fixed up the Cabriolet and sold it for $2,500. Then I bought this 95 Supreme Florida car for $2,800. So if I get a sixth grade math question here, you got, this is the depth of my political analysis. I got 52,000 votes for a $1,000 car. The question is, how many votes will I get with a $2,800 car? And that's about 140,000. So, and that would win the crowded primary that we're going to have. But I plan to, last time I hired homeless people to circulate my papers. We're going to be hiring more homeless people. I have 6 homeless people living in my house right now. And we're training them through my Homes for Homelessness to get a house. I give them a job, we'll canvass, and our goal is to knock on every door in the state of Wisconsin before the primary so that we broaden the base of the Democratic Party and we talk to more people. How do we build a better Wisconsin?
So you mentioned it is a very crowded primary. It seems to be getting more crowded almost by the day. What do you view as your path to win that nomination?
Well, first of all, it's make my day, because the more people, the merrier. The more people that are in the primary, the more it fragments the vote. I started out with 52,000 votes. I still run into people. Last time I handed out checks that I was giving money back to, it was in the billions of dollars that Scott Walker took away from our workers and our teachers and our school kids. And people come up to me all the time and say they still have that check on their refrigerator 8 years later. So, but this time I'm going door to door like I did before. But when we go into a town, we'll have a town hall meeting. I'll take questions, until the last dog dies, until people are done asking questions. And then we go out and I knock on doors. And people, they're tired of the one call, that's all. I'm sorry, I know they advertise on you guys, but the one, they're tired of seeing the negative ads, and I make my own TV ads on my iPhone. I'm not, but I have stories from people across Wisconsin, from cleaning up the Fox River, the toxic pollution there. I worked with the local activists and paper companies, $1 billion project. In Milwaukee, the crypto outbreak in '93 killed 50 people and sickened half of the city. I was on the EPA advisory board that created standards for cryptosporidium to keep that from happening again. In northwest Wisconsin, the Pinocchio strip mine that Tom Tiffany supported, I was key to getting the letter from FEMA that said if you exempted that bill from floodplain insurance, it would put 12,000 flood insurance policies holders at risk all across the state. And I want to create a Pinocchio State Park, maybe a national park, expand Copper Falls State Park to protect that beautiful area. On the Mississippi River, after the '93 floods, I worked with FEMA and James Lee Witt and Vice President Gore and President Clinton. We moved 12,000 homes and businesses out of floodplains, because as the talking point I wrote for Al Gore, the reason they call them floodplains is it's plain that they flood, and that kept flooding down in subsequent years, even with these extreme rain events. So I have stories all across the state of people that I've helped, real people do real things. I've only lived up here since 1988, but I've got a lot of experience.
Some people might recognize your name not only from the last time you ran for governor, but from when you were in the state assembly. And during that time, you grabbed a lot of attention from the headlines. Some of those were positive, some were negative. If people recognize you from those moments, from your more notorious events, what would your message be to them now?
Well, first of all, let's talk about those. So there was, I just put it out yesterday, there was a time that Glenn Grothman went outside, and after we locked down the Capitol, literally they found one piece of .22 ammunition and used that as an excuse to shut down the Capitol and put in, metal detectors. So the protesters, who I helped get out of the Capitol because we'd made our point, were camped out there. Glenn Grothman called them slobs, I think, on Fox News. So I walk out, I see this, group of unhappy protesters with Glenn's head poking up out of him, yelling, "Shame, shame, shame." It's like, one, that's not how we treat people, and two, we don't want that picture on Fox News. So I went over and got Glenn. We were trying to get the Capitol Police wouldn't let us in we were holding up our IDs. They wouldn't let us back in the building, and I was able to get him to safety thanks to firefighters, by the way, who showed up.
Let's talk about if you were to become governor. You said your goal is for Democrats to win both chambers of the state legislature, but it's very likely that one party could control the assembly, one party could control the state senate. Whoever's governor might have to be bipartisan,
right,
no matter what party they're from. If
True.
you were to become governor, what would be your approach to working with Republicans?
First of all, I speak Republican fluently. I was raised in Oklahoma. My first campaign was Barry Goldwater in 1964. I shook Richard Nixon's hand in 1968. My dad was a big Republican donor. He was a country doctor, but he was a big Republican, and he switched parties after Ronald Reagan began the attack on conservation and the environment in our parks in 1980. My Bama, my grandma, said, you're a Democrat. She said she was a yellow dog Democrat. She said, I'm a Democrat because Democrats put people over power. But I know how to work with Republicans. Bob Welch ran for the Senate. I worked with him at the Wisconsin Corn Growers to build 2 advanced biofuel plants that take the part of corn that is the feed part, take it out, bag it up, and send it to hungry people in Africa. At least they did that till they shut USAID down, and that hurt our market for our exports. I worked with Brandon Scholes at the grocers, another big, longtime Republican leader, on creating a program to work with grocers to green them up, because the largest energy user in most communities is the grocery store if they don't have a data bank because of all the heating and cooling. So there's 2 examples. I was the only Democrat that would go. Robin Voss would invite us to go to beers after dinner, and I would go over and represent, because again, you've got to build those relationships. And a lot of the Republican members would quietly come up to me and offer sympathy for the way the Madison Democrats were treating me. I said, don't worry, they treat everybody that way. So.
When you were in the state assembly, you represented part of the Madison area.
The west side, yes.
What would be your approach to try to win support from voters outside of Dane County in the primary and the general if you make it there?
Just what I did before. I drove my convertible all over the state, and I went to football games, county fairs. I worked. I like the old Proxmire style campaign. When you go into town, you walk up and down, you talk to people, and everybody I ask, I run into, I say, tell me what you want from your next governor. And people can go to my website at voteforbrett.org and do that. It's 4 because Brett Favre and I have the same the same first name, but he's from Mississippi. I'm from Oklahoma. He has more urban sophistication than I do. So
All right, Brett Hulsey, thank you so much for being here with me today.
great, thank you.